Good Saturday morning, YouTubers. I just kind of want to talk today a little bit. I'm having to go to the shop and do some dipping on some stuff. The other day I got started in on some SnapOn tools, and apparently I ruffled a few feathers, which is fine. And I don't mean anything to anybody by, I like my tools, and you people out there can like yours. It amazes me how there are so many people out there that get defensive on, if you say you like Snap-on tools and you're a Snap-on fan or a Mac fan or whatever. To me, a tool, if the tool does the job, then great. Your tools are no different than what my tools are. I choose to buy Snap-on. I do go to Harbor Freight once in a while if I want a cheaper tool, but I know that tool's not going to last. I buy DeWalt. I buy, it just all depends. It just amazes me how people get so defensive when you say something, or they think that you're bad-mouthing their brand. And by no means am I bad-mouthing anybody's brand. I just know what I like and what works. Over the years, I've learned what, works the best. It's just one of them deals that, sometimes people get so caught up in, what tool is best. I've got a buddy that all he uses is Makita brand. I have another buddy that all he swears by Milwaukee. And it's funny to get them two together because they'll argue the point of, well, I've dropped mine off a 100-foot ladder, or, I've dropped mine in a mud puddle of water. It works, whatever works best for you, buy it. But don't go out there and badmouth the other guy's tools, and that's what I'm trying to get across. I don't badmouth, or I try not to badmouth, and it may come off that way. But a lot of times, it amazes me how people get butthurt over, you say something and automatically they're on the defensive. I've got so many different trays and things that hold my tools. And it's funny because I've had the Snap-on guy and my gear wrench guy come in and see other people's brand. They don't comment on each other's brands. They see a cheaper one that I bought, and they kind of tease me about it. Oh, I thought, you were buying the stuff for me. They don't badmouth each other's, They just give me, oh, well, that was a Harbor Freight brand. And it's things like that. You could do it jokingly, and they have a sense of humor about it, or, they kind of tease you about it. But it just amazes me how many people get butthurt over you say something, and that's the whole problem nowadays. It's just amazing how many people just totally lose their mind because you say something. And, why should you pussyfoot around somebody, excuse me, around somebody that gets butthurt? And I'm not gonna, I know there's people out there that troll, and I'm not gonna get into that, because if I get into where, I comment on a troll, I'm going to cut you at your knees. And I don't like that part of me, because I get mean. And I get to the point to where I'll chew you up and spit you out. And I'm not going to comment, because, I know some people's out there to try to push your buttons. And, I try to do the right thing. And, whether you like that part of me, that's fine. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that's not going to like what I have to say, and that's fine too. But I'm not going to get caught up in the arguing back and forth, and, you know, I'm just not going to do it. It aggravates me to see, and I've went on other people's channels, and I've seen some of the ones on Junkies and Bruce Allen's, and you know, just the comments that are made that are senseless, you know, and sometimes I think it's just to have an argument. They want to argue. That's all that's how they have fun in life, is to argue. And I'm not falling into that, and I'm getting off track. Back to the tool part of it, you know, it's totally amazing that, you know, and I have several Harbor Freight tools, and my wife and I was talking about it the other night, and she says, you know, some of the tools she's seen me buy over the years, she said, you know, and she'd comment, well, I know you had bought the Harbor Freight tool, and she said, I could tell you wasn't happy with it, but that's what you could afford at the time. And she says, you know, it's like your vehicles, though. She said, I've seen you go out and buy a vehicle that, you know, because it had to get you from point A to point B. But she said, in the long run, you'll go out and buy that truck or that car that you want. And she said, we'd have been better off to buy it ahead of time rather than have it for a year and then go out and get what you want. She, you know, like she said, I wasted the money on the vehicle. And that's the whole thing, guys. You know, if you've got the money and you can pay the money for the vehicle or the tool that you actually want, or that's going to do the best job, then buy that tool. Spend a little extra. If you don't have it, wait until you do get the money. And that's what I've learned, because I've jumped the gun and I've wasted my money on a tool or a grinder or something like that. And I've got a buddy that's all he buys is Harbor Freight tools. And I tried to tell him, for the 3 of the grinders that he's burned up, he could have had a nice rigid or whatever tool that wouldn't have burned up or would have been under warranty. And, you know, I was helping him build a trailer one time, and that's what he had, and I spoke 2 of them, and we had to stop doing what they were doing, and he had to run to Harbor Freight and get it warranted. Luckily, he bought the extended warranty. I went to the house, got my grinder, was back at his place and grinding and cutting by the time he got back. He was afraid that he to use my tool. He didn't want to burn it up, and I said, this grinder has been through hell and back, and I'm not gonna, you know, let's just use it. And he decided to go grind some stuff down in that, and within 30 minutes he burned up the 3rd grinder. And that's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's not the tool, just some of the tools I feel over there are just junk. And I mean, they're not even for the do-it-yourselfer. They're just, I think a lot of times it's just to get your dang money. And that's one of the reasons why I like SnapOn, is because I have never had any trouble with any of the SnapOn tools. And I've got, you know, all sorts of different type drills. I've got DeWalt, I've got Makita, I've got, yeah, anything imaginable. But I like the warranty that I get with SnapOn, and I don't have to run all over town. It kills me. To me, that my time is money. And, you know, if you can't understand that, you know, with especially a guy that owns a business, it amazes me how many people get upset, or, you know, and I have buddies tell me all the time, well, you're just paying for the name of SnapOn. And yeah, I may be paying for the name of Snap-on, but he comes right here to the shop. And same way with my gear wrench guy. He comes right here to the shop. And I know every Thursday and that uh, I can have the tools that I want um, when I need it, if I need to trade. And either one of them's give me their number. And it told me, if you break a tool or whatever, we'll come right over. I've had the gear wrench guy tell me, hey, if you're working here on a Sunday or whatever, and he said, if I'm available, he said, I'll come by and I'll bring you a tool. And that means a lot to me because I put in different hours. It's my own business. I can come and go as I please. And there's some times that I do work on Saturday and Sundays, and they're odd hours. And there's times that I've needed a tool, a specialty tool, and, I know that option's there. And, and don't get me wrong, I've, on a Sunday, Harbor Freight had been open, I'd run over there and get the cheap tool that I needed. Excuse me. But it's just the fact of the matter that, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to piss anybody off. But it's the fact that, I choose to pick the Snap-on tools. I like Snap-on tools. It's just, the bottom line is Snap-on is, in my opinion, the way to go. And I know there's a lot of people out there that think that you're paying for the name or you're, it's a status symbol. I had a guy tell me, oh, you're just buying them tools just because it's a status symbol, and he walked back in the shop and seen my box. And I was like, well, it is what it is. If, and he kind of made the comment, well, I can see why you charge so much for, and I said, no, I have the right tool for the right job. And I said, there's not all Snap-on tools in that box. You just see a nice box sitting there. And, whether I choose to have Snap-on, whether I choose to have Craftsman, Cobalt, whatever, that's my choice. And it's just like it's your choice to buy the tools you want. But don't look down upon me because I buy Snap-on tools. And I get that a lot, And like I said, I've got buddies that work in the industrial industry. And I was in that for almost 25, 30 years in the industrial. And I choose not to do that. I don't want ever, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't go back into it. But, excuse me, wow. It's just the fact that I done it for so long and got burned out on it, and I give it, I busted my butt for different companies and things, and it just don't seem like I got that appreciated. And I like it when my customers come in, or I've dipped a gun or something, and they come in and say, wow, man, that, you done an awesome job on that hydro dip, thank you. There's other people that charge me an arm and a leg, and I think I'm reasonable on my price. And there's times I get asses out there that, they want to Jew me down on my prices or whatever, and most of the time, them are the ones I kind of try to weed through. But that's what I tell them, I've got the right tool for the right job. I didn't go out and just buy a small tank. I went out and stuck my neck out and bought a very large tank, and it cost me a lot of money, and I'm paying on it. But that I chose to do that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when you own your own business. It's nice to be able to get that tool or buy the tools that you want for the job. And, I'm going to spend a little extra because I know them tools are going to last. I've got tools at the house that I was going through, and it amazes me because we're getting a lot of rain here this week, and I don't know if it's been from this week or, just because it's dry moisture, but I haven't been in my shop at the house that long, and some of my older tools in the wrench drawer, and some of them have the foam like the Junkie done, and I noticed they're rusting right there in place, and it's because they were cheaper tools. And there's nothing wrong with the cheaper tools. It's just ones that I bought in the past and that. And I was shocked to see that just sitting in a toolbox and not being used, or what, that they had actually started rusting. And that's what I'm saying. I've never had any of my Snap-on tools rust. I've never had any of my Snap-on tools fail me. If they did, I could take them back to the Snap-on guy and get my money, or excuse me, get my return it, and he'd give me one back, and we're good to go. Yeah, there's a lot of times with different tools, and he told me on a couple of his tools that his warranty isn't as good as your DeWalt or whatever. He may only have a couple years, but I know I've learned with Snap-on, and one of these days I'm going to do a deal on theirs as soon as I research a little bit more. I know their tools, or excuse me, their power tools they go by their battery life, how many times you use it, and they can tell you, I believe, how many times that battery has been charged and how many times it hasn't. And I don't know a whole lot about it. I need to research it, and I don't want to say anything out of context or whatever, so I'm just going to drop it at that. But it's just one of them things. Wow, excuse me, guys. It's just one of them things that, I don't know. I see a lot of people get butthurt over, words and things that people say, or things people post or whatever. And I just don't like to get caught up in that part of it. It's just, I don't know. And when I read some of the comments and things, there's some of them that I do get offended, and some people, I take people wrong sometimes, and they may not mean what they say or the way I take it. And I've learned over the years not to say a whole lot, because it really gets me to the point when my feathers do get ruffled. I get mean, and it's just a hateful part of me that I don't like, and I try to work on that. And that's the whole thing with owning your own business. You really have to bite your tongue sometimes. And I don't understand people that are out there trying to just, be I guess a troll. To me, that's just downgrading or trying to demean somebody. And when somebody starts demeaning me or trying to talk down to me, it pisses me off, and I get to the point to where I just, like I said, I'll cut you at your knees, and I just chew you up and spit you out. And I don't even, I'm done with you. I'll walk away. And I really don't like that part of me, because I think everybody deserves the respect, and the we're all human beings, and whether you like what I have to say or whether you dislike what I have to say, that's your opinion. That's what makes America great, that we all have different opinions. But just because I believe that I like Snap-on tools, or I like a certain tool, or a certain electric, just whatever, it amazes me how many people have opinions, and how many people want to put their opinion off on you. And I really just don't understand the people that are out there trolling YouTube. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's just part of it. I know there's people out there that just do it for fun. they like to make other people's lives miserable. And I don't know, it's just one of them things that I wanted to say something about it, and I had a little time driving in today to the shop, and I hadn't done any videos, and I just kind of wanted to put it out there, and it may be mumbo jumbo to some of you, and others may like it, but it was another thing I thought needed to be said, and I appreciate your Saturday morning for watching my videos. Thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate all the comments and things, and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as there's a couple of guys that had asked about some trays and things, and I'm getting a lot of people asking me on the green trays, so I'm going to have to look them up, and I may do a video on them, where I got them. I haven't used a whole lot of them yet because I bought the monster rack trays, and I'm trying to get that part of it organized, and then probably eventually go to the green trays, get them filled up. But right now they're empty, and I've got a few sockets here and there, but people had asked me about it, so I'll probably do a video on it. But I did get them through Amazon for those that asked. I'm not sure on the price, and I'm not sure if they were discontinuing them or not. I know I got them pretty reasonable. But once again, like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate everybody. Once again, have a great Saturday. God bless, and we will see you in the next video.